welcome back to my channel, and today I have a special video for you where I asked different booktubers to give their holiday and Christmas memories, and I ended up getting some really special clips, so I look forward to you all seeing those and enjoying them. And the two memories I wanted to give you were about two books that happened around Christmas time. And the first is this collection from Miss Reed called Christmas at Fairacre, and I was going to leave for a family holiday celebration together, and we had about a 10-hour road trip coming up, and I had ordered this in the mail, and it was the day that we were leaving and it still hadn't come, and then about a couple hours before we left this arrived in the mail, and I hadn't read it yet, but I had had it recommended, and it ended up being one of the coziest possible reads during Christmas time that I could. It's very British, it has cozy snowy scenes and scenes of people enjoying food around the table together and enjoying warm beds and looking at the Christmas tree, and it was just such a fun Christmas read. And then the second one I wanted to show you was a gift that I received a few years ago, and that is this absolutely gorgeous Jane Austen book set, and it includes all of Jane Austen's works, and it opens up like this, and it just looks so beautiful, them all lined up together, and I may or may not have teared up when I received this. I was so excited. So here's Anne Elliot waiting by the seaside in Persuasion. Here is a happy ending for a certain couple in Sense and Sensibility. Here is a moonlit scene from Mansfield Park. I wanted to show several from Emma because there are so many beautiful ones, and this one is On the Way to the Christmas Party, so very fun and appropriate for this season. This is Emma taking a walk in a beautiful autumn weather, and Elizabeth Bennet reading a very important letter in Pride and Prejudice. So I think these are so elegant, and they are my most treasured books, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the Booktuber memories.
Fellow cyborgs, my bookish Christmas memory came from the year 2007 when I was 17, and I was gifted these two modern library volumes, those being the Collected Tales and Poems of Edgar Allan Poe and the Complete Novels of Jane Austen Volume 1, which contains Pride and Prejudice, Sense and Sensibility, and Mansfield Park. This is the Christmas bookish memory I wanted to talk about because this was the first time that I remember getting a book for Christmas unasked for when I was not a child anymore, when I was like a teenager, or in this case nearly a young adult at 17. And I remember when I unwrapped these, completely not expecting to get them, that Santa, or more importantly some family members, really understood me better than I knew myself, and that at times I didn't need to ask them precisely what I wanted. They already knew themselves. Thank you for watching, and until next time, I hope that you get to form some bookish winter holiday memories this year and continue to be lovely.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Chaotic Little Book Corner, and hello Kate, thank you so much for including me with all of these other lovely ladies and booktubers. My bookish Christmas memory is actually one I don't talk about a lot, and that's Harry Potter. Now, as much as I can't admit to loving it and desperately admiring it as many do, I can tell you that all of the Harry Potter books I ended up reading, I first read by listening to them from the audibles done by Jim Dale, and each and every one of them we would receive, my sister and I, on Thanksgiving, and it would be the book that we would listen to for the next month leading up to Christmas to drive back and forth from Maine to Massachusetts to see family. And it was one of the only times that my youngest sister and I really didn't fight because we enjoyed these books so much as kids. And I always will remember driving home on Christmas Eve from Massachusetts after going to my grandparents' house with Christmas gifts in the back and listening to Audible of, I believe at that point we were on the fourth one, so the Order of the Phoenix, and being so scared by Professor Umbridge, terrified of Professor Umbridge, and just feeling so safe though because I was in the car with both of my parents and my little sister, and listening to Harry Potter on Audible was my favorite. And at that time it was actually just on CDs that we'd gotten out of the library. We spent a lot of time in the car together, and as a result we spent a lot of time with Harry Potter in the car. It was one of my favorite experiences, and it's one of my favorite memories, and one of the things that I hold the closest to my heart as far as Christmas bookish experiences go. Thank you so much again. I will see you guys over on the chaotic little book corner, and I hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas. Bye!
Hey Kate, it's Bree, and I have two Christmas bookish memories to share with you. The first one is Christmas Day, 8th grade year. I wake up, I go in the living room, and my parents had bought me my first ever bookshelf, and I was so grateful. Up until that point, I had kept books in boxes and milk crates and stacked on top of my dresser and hidden under my bed. So it was just the most awesome feeling for everything to have its own place. I think as a kid that loves to read, there's no better feeling than when you get your first bookshelf. And then the second memory I have is last Christmas I bought my kids Home Alone, and I remember reading it to them for the first time and they laughed out loud hysterically. It was so funny. And I think the first day that I bought it, we read it like 4 times that day. They just kept wanting me to read it. So of course that was a great feeling. But the artwork in this book is just phenomenal. It's so amazing, and the story is very much true to the movie. So yes, those are my favorite Christmas bookish memories, Kate. Thank you for letting me share them with you. And Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, everybody.
Hi Kate, so one of my favourite Christmas bookish memories is definitely receiving The Jolly Christmas Postman by Janet and Annan Alberg. I'd loved the original Postman book, and this one was just super special to get at Christmas, and I've kept it for Matilda when she gets older. It's a rhyming book, and you have lots of different fairy tale characters, and they're all getting letters from the postman, and so this one is for Baby Bear. And then if you go in, there's various different things. This is a Christmas card sent to Baby Bear from Goldilocks and her sister, and the story progresses and you see the letters that everybody gets. You've got Humpty Dumpty, and he gets a jigsaw. And it's just a beautiful book, really fun, and there's nothing better for a kid than pulling out things from the book. This is the final one. In this one they get a really special sort of Christmas card that pulls out and that you can see through, and I just love this book, and it definitely helped to give me the magic of Christmas. So this is probably one of my best Christmas memories, is getting this book and sitting and going through, and there's just nothing like receiving post snail mail. It's not the same getting emails and things like that, and this just made me desperate to receive things in the post. I think I desperately tried to get pen pals and tried to encourage people to send me things in the post after this, because I just loved receiving it. So that is my Christmas memory.
Oh hey everybody, it's Emma here, the Bookish Princess. I'm super excited to be part of Kate's Bookish Christmas Memories Squad. So one thing I loved about Christmas growing up were those book fairs, like the scholastic book fairs that they'd have at school around Christmas time. And they'd often have like lots of little weird gadgets and gazmos that you could buy for like your brothers and your parents. And it was always just super fun being able to like go in and pick out presents for everybody in your family, maybe a book here and there. One year when I was about 11 or 12, I had the brilliant idea to make books for everyone in my family. They weren't complicated or anything, like, you know, just stapled together. But they were illustrated, and I like thought up all sorts of Christmassy stories. I think my favorite was the one I made for my little brother, who's like 3 or 4 years old. He was obsessed with trains. So I came up with this story about a little blue train, and the little blue train went to like all the places our family liked. I'm pretty sure it went to Disney World and was like hanging under the palm trees. I can't wait to hear all the memories from the other booktubers. Thanks for putting this together, Kate. Happy holidays, Booktube.
Hello, it's Catherine. I'm just going to give you some information about a special book for me at Christmas that was given to me, especially for Kate's channel. So here we go. I'm just going to show you my teddy. This was the very first Christmas present that my Nana gave to me when I was born. Very precious. So, this is the beautiful book. This is called The Angel Quest of the Heart by Angela McGurr. And this was a present from my lovely husband, David. You just open the ribbon, and inside, bless him, he put, "To a beautiful angel with lots of love from the angel's soulmate." And then I just want to show some beautiful, gorgeous illustrations there that's inside. So it's a beautiful book, all sorts of really lovely things about love and angels and things. So there we go. Hope you like that little story. Much love. Have a great Christmas, everybody.
Hi Kate, hi everyone. I hope you're all having a wonderful lead up to Christmas so far and enjoying all these other lovely memories. I have two for you today. I have a tradition and a memory. And my absolute favourite Christmas tradition is reading the night before Christmas. This book was given to my mum the year my brother was born, and so she read it to him the night before Christmas, and of course when I came along she read it to both of us every night before Christmas, and now we just read it to everyone the night before Christmas, regardless of where we are. Even if we're not living together anymore, we still try and read the story and just say Merry Christmas on the 24th of December. So it's just a lovely tradition we have, and this is in those lovely little golden books that are just so indicative of childhood nostalgia. One of my favourite Christmas memories is when it's so hot outside, and after everyone had eaten the lunch of cold salads and prawns and seafood, that we would just spend the time either relaxing with family. Many people would watch movies, play games, or seek comfort in air conditioning because it would be so hot outside. And I used to read books, and my favourite memory is when my mum got me the second book in the Tamora Pierce series, and I ferreted myself away in one of the back rooms of my auntie's house so I would not be disturbed, so I could get a real chunk of this done before we had to leave for the day. And I always remember discovering my love of fantasy on a hot summer's day when the food coma is kicking in, and I just can hear my family laughing and having a ball outside on Christmas. So I hope everyone has an absolutely beautiful Christmas and feel the warmth and love this year.
Hi friends, Merry Christmas! I'm so excited that Kate asked me to share some of my favorite bookish Christmas memories with you. I'm going to start off by talking about a couple books that we read as a family every Christmas Eve when I was a kid, and I continue to love and cherish these books and stories and plan to read them with my... First off, we would read The Polar Express. This is by far one of my favorite Christmas children's books. I love it so much. I love the story inside. I think it captures the magic of Christmas that we experience as kids, and as an adult I love to recapture that magic that I think is so hard to find sometimes, but you can always feel it again through children's eyes, and I think this book captures that so well. With that, Merry Christmas and enjoy all these other Christmas memories.
I feel like I should be wearing a Christmas jumper, but I don't have one, so sorry. So the Christmas bookish memory I wanted to speak about today comes from about 2 years ago when me and my boyfriend went to a dramatic reading of A Christmas Carol. Now anyone who watches my channel normally knows that Charles Dickens is like the sun of my life, and I am quite fond of the works of Charles Dickens, shall we say. And this dramatic reading was done by none other than the great-grandson of Charles Dickens, which is about as close as you can get to meeting Charles Dickens because, you know, all of my favourite authors are dead, and that's sad. But Gerald Dickens is an actor, and this was not like other dramatic readings of books I've been to. I've been to previous dramatic readings of A Christmas Carol, but this one, Gerald Dickens knew the whole thing off by heart. It was 3 hours of memorised A Christmas Carol, not abridged at all, and it was absolutely brilliant. He acted out so well, did the voices wonderfully, and it was just such an incredible evening. This dramatic reading took place in this gorgeous Victorian building that was decorated up to be like a Victorian Christmas, and it was just a thoroughly beautiful, wonderful reading. I love A Christmas Carol so much. I think it is such a beautiful, funny, moving tale of Christmas, and I love just the way that Dickens creates Christmas and the atmosphere of Christmas in that story. It was just a wonderful experience to get to witness and hear A Christmas Carol narrated in this Victorian space by this brilliant actor, Gerald Dickens, who happened to be the great-grandson of Charles Dickens. Just a wonderful, wonderful bookish event, and I got to meet the great-grandson of Charles Dickens, and that was pretty exciting.
Hello, I'm Louise, the big head bookworm. Lovely to meet you. Well, this is a bit different. I'm on somebody else's channel. Kate emailed me and asked me whether I would send her a video when I would talk about a book which means a great deal to me, Christmas. And I was so flattered and so honoured and so grateful to be thought of. So first of all, I'm going to take this opportunity to say, Kate, I love you. Thank you so much. You gave me a real kick to be asked. Secondly, the book immediately sprang to mind, and it will have no resonance for Christmas for anybody else other than me. Now, when I was 21, I started working in a bookshop, and in my first Christmas, I bought myself this. It's called The Flanders Panel by Arturo Perez Reverte. And I bought it the week before Christmas, and I have such a clear memory of myself reading it in the few frantic days in the run-up to Christmas, where I was working all silly hours dealing with everybody in the frantic bookshops, with everybody panic buying, and then at my lunch times and on my journey to and from work on the train, I would read The Flanders Panel by Arturo Perez Reverte, and it has stuck with me, and every year after that, for a good 10 years, I would read this at Christmas. So on the 22nd or 23rd of December, I would start The Flanders Panel by Arturo Perez Reverte and just adore it. It is a literary mystery regarding chess set in Madrid, chess and art, basically. Set in Madrid. Let me read a little bit. It's a 15th century Flemish painting depicts two noblemen playing chess. One of the men depicted was later to be murdered, and in his painting the artist leaves a pointer towards the culprit. So it is to the mystery of the painting, but it's also a modern day mystery set in Madrid, and it is brilliant, and I absolutely love it. And I can't actually remember who in the painting did it, so maybe I'm going to have to read this again this Christmas. But I look at this, I couldn't read this at any other time of the year. I look at this and I think back to those weary days when I was on the train, but the book was brilliant. So there we go. That's my book that I think of when I think about Christmas. It's lovely to have met you. I hope you are well, and I look forward to seeing you again sometime. Bye!
Hey guys, my name is Marissa, and my favorite bookish Christmas memory is always receiving Christmas-themed picture books when I was a kid for Christmas. Now, I think my favorite one of these picture books was Tommy DePolo's Country Angel Christmas, which is the story of heaven getting ready to welcome baby Jesus, and follows this group of young angels who feel kind of useless when all of the older angels are already baking and making decorations and practicing beautiful music. And it's just a really beautiful, heartwarming story about how even the smallest of us can make the entire season brighter.
Hi, happy holidays everyone. I'm Marissa from Blatantly Bookish, and I just wanted to thank Kate for having me do this video and including me in her Vlogmas plans. I was asked to share a Christmas bookish memory with you guys, and unfortunately I don't really have any Christmas bookish memories because I was raised Jewish and we didn't really read Christmas books. I think we had an advent calendar once randomly, but it was all Nutcracker themed, so I don't know. But anyway, I do have a book to share with you today, and that is There's No Such Thing as a Hanukkah Bush, Sandy Goldstein. This book really spoke to me as a child when I felt left out during Christmas time. It's about a young girl named Robin who thinks that Christmas is the worst time of year, and that's because she has to face the same questions over and over again. Does being Jewish mean she can't have a Christmas tree, and that she can't be a part of the excitement all around her? And it really doesn't help matters that her friend Sandy Goldstein has a Hanukkah bush, which is essentially just a Christmas tree. but it makes her non-Jewish friends ask her more questions, and eventually her grandfather explains to her that, you know, he takes her to a Christmas party and explains to her that it is okay to be Jewish during Christmas time. It is okay to celebrate with your friends, to share in their experiences, but it doesn't mean that you are Christian. It doesn't mean that you celebrate Christmas. It just means that it's okay to share in the Christmas spirit. So I actually used to be like Robin and really hate Christmas time, mostly because I struggled with it. You know, am I allowed to celebrate Christmas with my friends? Does that make me a bad person? Does that make me a bad Jew? And I think our values are actually very similar around this time of year, and that the idea of being generous, the idea of sharing your culture with others, and things like that, you know, the Christmas spirit, are actually things that everyone should be able to participate in. And I have a lot of fun now during Christmas time sharing it with my friends and eating candy canes, which I used to feel guilty about, and things like that. So happy holidays, everyone.
Hi everyone, it's me, the Booknester, and my memory regarding books and Christmas has to do with the night before Christmas. So on Christmas Eve, we would always read The Night Before Christmas, and one year we were given a gift of The Night Before Christmas down in Texas. And this was probably when my son was about 1 year to 2 years old. And after that, we started collecting different versions of The Night Before Christmas, the poem. Eventually, we had about like 9 to 10 different books. They were about a stack about that high. And they were all different ones. So like something like The Redneck Night Before Christmas, or The Night Before Christmas in Brooklyn. And we would start reading those before Christmas Eve. So if we had 9 of them, we would start 9 days before Christmas Eve, and each night read a different one, with ultimately on Christmas Eve reading the original. But it didn't stop there. No. We would take these books to parties. Yes, we're those people. We don't bring wine, we don't bring champagne, we bring books with us. But after a little bit of wine and champagne and libations, there is nothing better than watching a bunch of South Texas people trying to read The Night Before Christmas in Brooklyn. Priceless. Entertainment value that you just can't put a price on. The other thing that we did is once we finished reading down by the Christmas tree, we would go upstairs, and starting December 1st, Morris and his disappearing bag would appear. This is such a lovely little book. It's a wonderful story, and our kids, I mean my son and my stepdaughter, loved it. But what made this so special was every night their dad would read this to them starting December 1st. And it's how he reads it. It's the inflections he puts in it. I could read the same book and it wouldn't have had the entertainment value. But I remember sitting there watching my husband sitting next to my son in his little toddler bed with the little Christmas tree lights on reading this. And that is one of the most special memories that I would ever have. But eventually, it wasn't so much the kids wanted Dad just to read. They wanted to read to Dad. And that's where Lemony Snicket's The Lump of Coal came in. This was picked out by my son, and he would read this back to his dad, and it says on the back, well, first I have to show you, look at that lump of coal, you gotta love him. Nobody wants coal for Christmas, but miracles can happen, even to those who are small, flammable, and dressed all in black. These 2 books, my husband reading to my children, and the children reading back to Dad, really rounded out our Christmas memories around books.
Hey, it's Hilary from Your Robot Friend, and my favorite bookish memory happened a couple of years ago. I had just finished reading Bleak House by Charles Dickens, and I was raving about it nonstop. I was so surprised to have loved Dickens so much. It was my first Dickens. So I was raving about it, and my friend ended up inviting me to this event that happens in the Bay Area every year, which is called Dickens Fair. And I said yes, of course. And it's this really fun event where an event space is turned into Victorian England. People dress up in the Victorian era clothes or as Dickens characters. There are actors throughout who are playing characters from A Christmas Carol or Oliver Twist. There's a choir that dresses up like pirate sailor people and sings, all kinds of vendors, and the building, they've built little shops that are meant to look like Victorian England, like storefronts. And they're really cute. You can actually buy things there, wands and marionettes and all kinds of things that are era appropriate. There's era appropriate food, there's a place where you can waltz or pretend to waltz, and vendors selling spiced nuts, and it's just such a wonderful Christmassy place. And I never would have found out about it if it hadn't been for loving Dickens so much. So that's my favorite bookish Christmas memory. I hope you all are doing well and have happy holidays.
This is ridiculous. Why do I have ski goggles on inside the house? Hey everyone, Merry Christmas. I'm Dan Martin from Dan Martin Likes You, and today I'm from Kate Howe. Thank you so much, Kate, for having me on your channel and as part of this bookish Christmas special video. I'm excited to take part of this. Here is my favorite bookish Christmas memory. Hands down, I think my favorite Christmas bookish memory goes to getting this gift, David Sedaris's When You're Engulfed in Flames, from my mother. It was about 3 years ago, I believe, and she stood in line for an hour and a half to get David's autograph. And I'll just get this really quick. It says, to Dan, with the pleasure on meeting your enchanting mother, David Sedaris. It was great. It was really sweet. For those of you who don't know, David's one of my favorite authors of all time. I just think he's hilarious. He brightens every day. And that's it. That's my favorite memory. Thank you so much for having me. I hope all of you have a wonderful holiday, and I'll see all of you in the new year. Without the indoor scarf, or the hat, or the goggles.
Hi guys, my name is Courtney and I'm from Classics with Courtney. I want to thank Kate so much for sending this invite to do this. Thank you so much. I am so excited. So Kate, you asked us to share one of our favorite holiday books, either a book we remember getting at Christmas or just a really Christmassy book. On my Booktube channel, the classic picks for me are, of course, Harry Potter, A Christmas Carol, and How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Today I want to talk about something different that I don't normally talk about. That is the Little House on the Prairie series by Laura Ingalls Wilder. I received this book for Christmas back when I was in 3rd or 4th grade, and I just fell in love with the series. The real life story of Laura Ingalls Wilder as she recounts her life living on the prairie, kind of the turn of the century, moving out west. I remember receiving this book series and I was so excited to read it. I loved the American Girl series, I loved historical fiction, and this book series has stuck with me since then. Laura herself is such a feisty young character and I love her so much. She's one of my favorite literary figures. Another reason why this book series sticks out to me as a good Christmas book series, not just because I got it on Christmas, but because Laura's recounting her life, you always get this really great Christmas scene. And I think this is the reason why I aspire or kind of dream about that old time kind of Christmas feel. Though they live out on the prairie, they don't have a lot. Christmas is always such a magical time anyway for them. It's all about the food and family and love, and I just find the idea of this kind of older traditional Christmas so interesting and fascinating, and I'd love to be a part of it. It kind of has that old feeling that you get at Christmas time, that kind of magical old feeling. This was a Christmas book I remember getting from my grandfather. I've enjoyed it since then. I am so thankful that he bought me the box set at Christmas, but it is great to enjoy all year round. Hope you guys enjoyed my little short video. I'll see you guys later and keep it classy.
Hello dear Booktube, Merry Christmas to you all. I would like to take some time today to tell you about my Christmas tradition. Every Christmas, every year, for a couple of years now, I reread The Hobbit. To begin with, this was because the Hobbit movies came out on Boxing Day in Australia, and so I like to reread the book before I watch the movies. Now it's just a tradition. In Advent, the 4 main themes are hope, peace, joy, and love. Personally, I find these traits in The Hobbit more so than I do in any other book, really. You've got this fight for peace. There is definitely war. There is struggle. There is all of this turmoil. The dwarves are separated from their homeland, but they want to get back and they want to be peaceful. They want to be at peace in the place where they belong. You've got the joy of the company and of the friendship, the new friendships that come. Of course, the ending is a little painful, but that doesn't discount from the joy that's all throughout the book. You've got the love of the company, the love for their people. You've got the dwarves' love for the dwarves. You've got the love within the company for the Hobbit and Gandalf and the dwarves. You've got their love for their homeland, for their culture. Just even the people of Lake Town. There's a lot of miscommunication and just messy stuff. But there's a whole lot of love too. And lastly, hope. Thorin Oakenshield is the most hopeful character I have ever known. He is my favourite character in any kind of media ever. He makes some unwise decisions, but he is hopeful to the end. He's struggling against all these odds because he knows what he wants, he knows what he needs. Thorin Oakenshield is my Christmas. So while I'm rereading The Hobbit this year, I'm going to be thinking about hope, peace, joy and love, and that's going to create a massive Christmas spirit within me, and I hope that you can find a book that does the same for you. Later, nerd.
Guys, it's Stephanie, and today I wanted to talk about a bookish Christmas tradition that I had. When I was 10 years old, my mother gave me a copy of Louisa May Alcott's Little Women because that was one of her favorite movies of all time. I read the book through when I got it when I was 10, and then every December since then I had tried to reread it. And you can see in the wear and tear that this particular copy has received over the years. It's been well loved. It's been very well loved, and I've never made it very far just because it's such a huge book. But if you know the story, you know that the beginning of this book is just, it's a Christmas scene and it is so cozy and comforting. So this is a book I definitely turn to around Christmas time if I want the Christmas feels, and I absolutely love it. Anyway guys, that was my bookish Christmas memory. See you soon. Bye.